The Lakers right now, they're struggling. They're 0-2. They lost to the Warriors by 7 points. They lost to the Suns by 10, but it was really a blowout for the majority of the game. They didn't look in tune at all. I mean, what do you make of the Lakers' struggles so far? Is it on Russell Westbrook? Is it mainly him? Is it this team construction? How do you feel, and can LeBron fix it and save this team?
Well, I think the track record has shown us that, LeBron will probably end up fixing it. He's very aggravating in the sense where he's going to figure it out, and then they're going to end up going deep. But I will say, I think a lot of it is Frank Vogel. I think a lot of the lineups that he throws out there is really bad. Playing Rondo and Westbrook at the same time.
Ken Bazemore.
It's really, Ken Bazemore can shoot from the corner. So it's like, but putting 2 point guards that play similar, that both have no ability to shoot the three-pointer, is terrible. Playing two bigs, they're trying to bring that 2019 vibe back, would be more physical, be strong with everybody, be aggressive. But it's just, I feel like they don't have the personnel for that. I think honestly, Westbrook, he has to figure it out. He's been missing point blank layups. His jump shot, we knew he had to become a shooter, at least a mid range shooter. He had to be effective. He hasn't been. LeBron and AD have looked fine to me. They looked fine. AD, last game he didn't look all too great, but they were getting blown out. But for the majority part, AD looks healthy. LeBron looks healthy. They both look fine. They look like they still have their connection going. It's everybody else. Melo's gonna get Melo. When Portland lost Melo, I didn't think it was going to be a big loss because he didn't play defense. And Portland's going to be able to score regardless of who you have there because Dame and CJ are still there. Losing Melo didn't really hurt them because he doesn't play D, and that's what he comes here. He doesn't play defense. If he's not scoring, he doesn't provide anything else on that court. And the problem with this team is they don't have enough guys that offer multiple things on the court. People were saying on Twitter, oh, LeBron's off the court, this team looks bad. Well, yeah, a lot of LeBron's constructed teams are built to just spot up shooters, and he has the ball for the majority of the game. And now with this team, it's a bunch of guys who show the ability on paper that they can shoot, and you have two ball handlers. I would rather see, Westbrook play with the second unit a lot, so where he can, be Westbrook, be Westbrook of old, and kind of get in rhythm, because it looks like he's not in rhythm with LeBron and AD yet. But they'll probably figure it out eventually. But, a loss to the Warriors and then a loss to Phoenix, those are two teams in the West they're going to be competing with. So these aren't two slouch L's. This isn't the Raptors or the Kings. These are two teams. They were both playoff games. They were both playoff games with playoff atmospheres, and this was two intense games. So LA got to figure it out.
This is what Mike D'Antoni did when talking about staggering their minutes. He did that with Harden and Westbrook, and that's how they got going. That's how Westbrook got going.
Mm-hmm. So I have a few takeaways from what I've seen early on from my Lake show. So first off, the glaring thing to me is the lack of jump shooting. That's the biggest need. I said it going into the season. My concern for the Lakers was going to be their jump shooting. Up until this point, Russell's jump shot, his free throw shooting has looked terrible. LeBron's has been easily the best on the team thus far. He looked amazing these first two nights shooting the basketball. Anthony Davis, I think he's accounted for the only three from Russell and him combined. I think they're 1 for 13 from three these past two games. But other than that, Melo looks pretty all right with shooting the basketball. And other than Melo, we really don't have many other jump shooters. And that was the obvious issue going into the season. Another takeaway from these first two games is a lack of chemistry we have right now. I'm looking at these switches that they're making on the pick and roll, lack of communication, too much overcommitting on trying to make the big play to start the fast break. I think that'll come with some time. Obviously, this is basically a whole new team. It's going to take a few games. I would have loved to win one of these games. Obviously, I thought the Warriors game was more than winnable. This Suns game got out of hand really fast, but it's because AD really wasn't having the best of game. I think he ended up having 20 points, but it was he got there, but it was an ugly 20 points. I think his field goal percentage was under like 40. But regardless of that, I think that it'll come with some time. Russell struggled for sure. Game 1, he did not look himself at all. Game 2, I liked what I saw. It was definitely an improvement because he was being aggressive. He was taking the ball to the rack, at least trying to get to the free throw line. Last game was a little aggravating because it was a lot worse than it looked, in my opinion, because of the lack of calls that we were getting. But it seemed as if whatever the Suns wanted, they were getting. The blocking fouls that should have been charges that were going the Suns' way. Russ going to take the ball to the rack, fouls that just weren't called, LeBron, AD, just stuff like that. But obviously, you take your L. At least we showed some fight towards the end of it, got it to within 9, ultimately ended up losing the game ended up losing the game by 10. I think that we're going to be okay, but from what we've seen, it's just chemistry issues right now and lack of shooting. It'll get better for sure, but I think we need to see Russell Westbrook just have confidence. If he's missing, I'm okay with it as long as he continues to keep it going. If he quits, that's where I start to have my concerns. But ultimately, I'm cool with him struggling right now as long as he continues to hustle and still play hard.
I agree with both of you guys. I mean, I think it's entirely really too early to assess this Lakers team. I mean, the first 2 games have been pretty bad, but you know, as a viewer, one thing that I am kind of weirded out by is why is DeAndre Jordan even like playing? Like, why is he starting? He doesn't offer anything. I mean, the first 2 games, I mean, that he's had, he's posted 2 points, 1 rebound each game. Doesn't get after it on the glass. Terrible defender. He's just a shell of himself. He hasn't been good since the Clippers did. But you know, as far as like Westbrook, I think Westbrook has to get used to obviously being a third option, and he's never been that in his career. He's never been the third option. So, as far as Frank Vogel's lineups, I don't really like them either because you have like 3 below average jump shooters as like, you know, as your main crop of your lineup. You have 3 below average jump shooters surrounded by DeAndre Jordan, who doesn't offer anything on offense, and then Kent Bazemore, who like he's not really a consistent enough shooter.
You're saying LeBron's below average shooter?
I mean, not a. Wait, 30. His career is 35. That's about average, a little below average, give or take.
Free throw shooting,
give or take.
But the way that he shot the basketball,
no, he's shooting good. He's shooting good so far. It's 2 games though, but he's
I mean, if
he's a
LeBron's
solid
your best
shooter.
3-point shooter, it's not really
that's my problem. But you know, other than that, I mean, I think these are problems that they can clean up. I mean, I'm sure Anthony Davis struggled last night, but I don't think that's going to happen. Obviously, continue. But LeBron and Anthony Davis, that duo has to be the one that dominates the offense. Russell Westbrook has to find out how to be a third option. If that's coming off the bench and not coming off the bench, but if that's playing with the bench unit, if that's playing with the bench unit or, you know, getting more time with the secondary players, that's fine. But other than that, I mean, I don't take too much of it. I mean, it's early. I mean, you're adding a big ego in Russell Westbrook to LeBron James and Anthony Davis. We all knew that this was going to be a problem early on. I mean, we all called it. This team wasn't going to go. I mean, they weren't going to win 65 games like you said, like get off and running like that. But
I'm still ready for it.
Other than that, I mean, I think Frank Vogel has
now.
It's okay.
Frank Vogel has a little bit of blame to get. Off topic, but I kind of liked how Austin Reeves came in the game. You know, he provided some defense.
On topic, it's not off topic.
Yeah, and he provided some shooting. He's pretty good on defense from what I've seen. So I think he has to be in the lineup more to space the floor because this starting 5 jump shooting wise is probably the worst starting 5 when it comes to the floor space in the NBA. So I don't really like the lineups, but I think they can fix it. It's LeBron.
I haven't watched Russell Westbrook's new documentary that came out. I want to watch it, though.
He has a documentary?
Yeah, it's on Showtime. I want to watch it.
Yeah, you do that.
Yeah, I want to watch it. Right now, the Lakers dealing with a lot of injuries. Kendrick Nunn is out. Taylor Horton-Tucker is out. Trevor Ariza, who's projected starter, is out, and he's a floor spacer.
Yeah.
No 0-2 team has ever won a championship.
Knew this was coming.
You looked that up? Like, that's a fact?
That is a fact.
Wow, really?
You know what's funny? I tried to look it up. I couldn't find it anywhere.
Well, maybe you're just not good at it like
you have to. You have to watch
word for word what he said.
Oh, okay.
You have to watch sports shows on TV.
Okay.
Like ESPN, when after they recap a game, they have all the stats on deck. Oh wow!
Yeah, I did not know that.
So you can, if you stumble upon those shows, you can pick up these good.
That's just one of those.
I typed into Google 0-2 teams that have made the playoffs. It said come back from 0-2 in the playoffs. All that. I was just like, all right, I'm done looking.
But no team that has started off 0-2 has ever won a championship. And I didn't think the Lakers were going to win before the season started. I mean, we were here previewing all these teams, and we said, look, Golden State can beat them in a series, especially with how Bielitsa looks.
This side has Golden State coming out the
West.
I
have Golden State coming out the West, but I think Utah can beat the Lakers in a series. Just because Russ is such a liability, and Rudy Gobert can stay in the paint and can help on other drivers. I think Phoenix, if they play again, I think Phoenix can beat the Lakers. I'm not high on the Lakers, and they have injuries right now, but they're aging. Like Russell Westbrook, there are moments and flashes where you see the 2016 Westbrook, but we're 5 years removed from that. Russ is not that anymore. I know he averaged a triple-double last year. That's because of his insanely high usage with Washington. He is not effective right now or being as effective because he's a guy who relies on having the ball at all times. And even if you cut that in half, his effectiveness drops off drastically. That's why over the past couple of weeks and even months, I've grown to appreciate Steph Curry a lot because Steph Curry is someone who is a player A type of superstar. I mean, he's an alpha superstar, and he took a backseat to KD and had no ego. Superstars don't do that. And the ability for Steph to do that while also making an impact even when he doesn't have the ball is drastic. But talking about Westbrook, I don't think all the problems on the Lakers fall on him.
I agree.
He's a big part of it because in the playoffs, he's going to get the blame. When they lose, he's going to get the blame. There's no doubt about it. AD, to me at least, doesn't look motivated. He doesn't look like he wants to be an MVP of this league. Or to me, so far, he doesn't look that way.
Game 130, last game he
looked
struggled.
very
That's
motivated.
it.
Game 1, like he looked like he was here.
Game 1, he looked fantastic.
I don't think he does. To me, just in my eyes, from what I've seen, I think
Break that down for me.
Kent Bazemore is. I mean, it's nothing to break down. I just don't see it. Like, it's nothing to break down. It's nothing to break down.
Don't like that then.
Kent Bazemore, I think, is a solid defender, but he's not a floor spacer. DeAndre Jordan, you're right. He doesn't belong in the lineup. But you even look at this roster construction, it's a bunch of guys who are inconsistent. Malik Monk is not a proven player. He had a good season last year, but he's inconsistent. He's not proven. Avery Bradley has gotten cut each place he's went the past couple of years, and he's playing 21 minutes. He had 0 all across the board.
Tony Snell game.
Yeah, 11th,
exactly.
11th player ever.
Rajon Rondo, we saw in Atlanta last season.
Boy's poop.
He's not good anymore.
He
all these players are aging. They have a bunch of aging stars. Dwight Howard is washed. Rondo is washed. Westbrook is on the border of being washed. He's gonna have a great season. He's gonna have a great season. He's gonna have a great season probably because during like December to March he's gonna kick up. But we know in the playoffs he's not gonna provide much.
I'm interested to see how that goes.
Anthony Davis is great, but even LeBron, he's not washed. I would never say that, but he's definitely not what he was 2 years ago, even 2 seasons ago. LeBron is aging as well, and that's okay. He's 39 years old.
Oh, he's 36.
He's 36.
He's going to turn 37 in December.
So he's in 19th season.
Had 30
Whoa,
game
he said
1,
39.
too.
Because he was thinking of his season. He's his 19th season. He's 36.
But he's 36. It's his 19th year.
He's getting there, man.
Go James.
DeAndre Jordan, he's washed.
DeAndre Jordan shouldn't be in the league.
I just don't think the Lakers are going to make any noise. I think because LeBron has shown us in the past that he can do it, we're all expecting him to do it, and we still have hope. But just like the Phoenix series when AD went out, a lot of people said, "Oh, now LeBron's going to kick up. Now he's going to really be playoff LeBron." I even thought that, but didn't happen that way.
He had a bummed ankle though.
You're right, but reality struck.
Yeah.
And the reality is that the Lakers are an old team, and LeBron can't carry a team like he once could in the past. And they're not going to go anywhere this season. They're not going to win the championship. They won't make the finals. And, man, the Lakers are in trouble. And Washington, Kuzma, he just had 20 the other night. They're 2-0.
Yeah, 23-11.
Yeah, he started.
Yo, Harrell is getting more minutes than Gafford, too. And Harrell's going
and they
crazy.
Just paid Gafford, too.
Yeah, Montrezl Harrell, KCP, Kuzma, they're winning.
And you know what's
They got
funny?
a good team.
They're winning.
Their injuries aren't going to fix their problems. Because Kendrick Nunn isn't a shooter. We wouldn't call him a shooter.
No, he's a shooter.
But you're down
he's
on
a good
THT.
shooter.
And
With THT, even if I wasn't down on him, he's in a shooter.
But I understand
And he's in a floor
He's still
spacer.
a good ball player.
Whether we can disagree
He can
on
shoot
that,
the
but we can
basketball.
agree on this.
Where's Wayne
He's a
Ellington?
shooter.
Wayne Ellington, another one. Trevor Ariza, another
Wayne
one.
Ellington-
Trevor Ariza
important.
is going to be
Yeah,
key for you guys,
and
but
Wayne
he's
Ellington also.
cooked on defense.
he's
Cooked
old.
on
He's
defense.
old. He's old.
So, and that's going to be your primary guy to
So
guard
question,
other
They
Do you
players.
got to give
think-
Austin Reeves minutes.
Do you think
I'm
the
dead
Lakers
serious.
should have traded for Buddy Hield instead?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not ready to say that yet. I need to see more than 2 games. Can you?
You
give me a
can't
chance
say
here?
yes.
Why?
Because during the previews, we were talking about the Warriors. You said no. It's going to
Wait,
be the
wait,
Lakers.
wait.
No. Listen. You said
Time out.
no. They have the big
Time
three.
out, time
You
out,
said
It's all right, bro.
Time out.
Ride.
You said
Nah,
right.
it's not
No,
even-
you
time
can't
out,
switch
pause.
now.
It's not even that. It's not even that. He just asked if they should have got Buddy Hield. I was on board for that trade because it was
But
gonna
you
be a
also
floor
said
spacer.
during the previews, you was like, they have the big three. They'll be fine. They have the big three.
Oh yeah,
That's
they
what you
will.
kept
It's
saying.
2 games.
All right, so then
All right, it's 2
why
games.
you
But
down?
I can't say that I.
But I
wanted
understand what he's
them
saying
to get
because
Buddy
we
Hield too.
had a need.
That
Our
means
need
Westbrook
was
wouldn't
shooting.
go.
All right.
But that being said,
Buddy
it's
Hield's
2
good.
games.
But what's a
I'm
better
not-
team, Schroeder, Hield, LeBron, AD, or
Who'd
Westbrook?
you say at the one?
Schroeder.
Ew.
I mean, that's
no.
who they're going to pay. That's
Ew,
going to
ew.
bring back.
No.
Thank God he declined. Thank God.
He just had like 4 points the other day.
Yeah, he's
fell
poop. Boys poop.
He blew the layup against the Knicks in OT.
I mean, Westbrook. I told you guys this. He has to become a reliable shooter.
Do you think the Lakers going to figure it out, though, or no?
Figuring out enough to make the playoffs. Yeah, figuring out enough to get to the second round. Yeah.
Is there any way the Lakers don't make the playoffs?
No, there's no possible way.
I don't know, Joel. You said
Unless
If LeBron
Anthony Davis gets hurt,
it's over.
and then LeBron does what he does before. He says, "I'm unleashing Zero Dark 30," and then they go on that losing streak and start losing the teams.
If LeBron,
it's a fact.
You're a hater.
Yo,
Did it? It
if
happened.
LeBron gets hurt, there's no way this team's making the playoffs.
This
If
team
AD
sucks.
gets-
It's a
if
lot.
AD
It's a
gets
top-
hurt,
it's
there's
a
no way you
lottery
guys
team.
gonna-
I mean, I think
Yeah.
LeBron and Westbrook are good enough to get you to the playoffs.
I'm saying if AD gets hurt, there's no, you can kiss the finals. Western
Oh, the
Conference Finals
championship,
goodbye.
all that. Yeah, you can
That's
kiss
a
all that
fact.
Yeah, you
goodbye.
can kiss
That's
it
been a
goodbye. It's
fact.
over.
And he's very injury prone.
Who?
AD.
Oh, well, that's another fact.
I mean, if Westbrook gets hurt, I think that'd be the best thing that happens to you guys.
Wow.
No,
I
honest to God.
disagree.
Nah, I don't
Disagree.
I think so because I think you could just plug LeBron back at the one. You put 3 shooters in, and then
We have to
boom.
revisit
that's
this
what
topic
I mean,
in like January, bro.
Russ
It's
isn't
too premature.
even having the ball like that. I think they have to use Russ
Because
differently.
when he has the ball, it's either a turnover, a missed layup, or a missed jump shot. That's literally the 3 things.
He had 9 assists last game. Like, easy.
It's weird, but they need to play Russ like a center.
Ew.
I don't
They need to
agree.
have
Like
him
in
run.
Houston?
They need him having running. They need to have him
They
running
need to bench
baseline.
They need to bench
You know
DeAndre,
they-
and they need
you
to
know
put
they-
AD at the 5.
They need to have him running like.
How many times have I
They
said
need to
this?
put AD at the 5.
You guys see how Bridges cuts and hits backdoor screens? That's how Westbrook needs to play.
Yeah.
Just like that. Backdoor cuts, screens, set the pick, cut off and run a pick and roll like what Bledsoe does. That's what he needs to do. He needs to stay closer to the paint. Him on the perimeter just doesn't make sense.
But you have to put yourself in Westbrook's shoes. It is a big adjustment, though. You know,
You want to win.
Yeah, you want to win, but it's a huge adjustment. Like, you go from being the man in OKC when Kevin Durant went.
That was years ago.
Yeah, but I'm saying, though, but that's what I'm saying. This all leads up to, like, out of nowhere, you're in a team with LeBron and AD, and now you got to take
Well,
a back
it
seat.
comes with accountability.
And he doesn't have the requisite off-ball skills to really be that effective. So they have to figure.
No,
ways
but I
out.
think he has the off-ball skills.
cutting wise,
so,
yeah,
too.
but as a floor spacer and everything else,
Well, yeah. I mean, him at the 5
the
they
thing
could
is,
play him like Bruce
he's not-
Brown.
I don't
He's
know why
not-
people are expecting Westbrook to be this elite shooter either. Like, there's people saying he's gonna get better at shooting. No, he hasn't shown that in his career.
I just thought that he would at least make a single 3-point shot. The fact he's hit
Yeah,
0 threes
You
is
gotta hit
beyond
one.
me.
One got to
And
go
then that
in.
Westbrook and Rondo lineup, oh my god,
Rondo
that
hasn't
drives
looked
me
terrible, though.
crazy.
Because
Rondo's
the fast,
cooked.
yeah, I mean, obviously he's
Rondo
up
is
there in
cooked.
age, but at the same time, he really hasn't been horrible.